Я приветствую вас, дорогие друзья.
Hello, dear friends. I'm happy to welcome you to a new episode of Colors of Asia.
Сегодня вы увидите,
Today you will find out how some of the show business representatives feel themselves as business people.
обычно принято считать, что
It is usually believed that popular musicians, actors fully devote themselves to creativity, and it's hard to imagine that many of them show their talent and abilities in other areas. Today we decided to find out how some of them manage to combine their creative career with business, how much they need it, and whether the extra work affects their main business in any way.
основной. Наш первый герой живет в Алмате.
Our first hero lives in Almaty. This is a popular musician, a singer whose songs are always pleasant to listen to. Recently, we learned that in addition to working in show business, he manages to find time to run his own business.
Получается, это у него
It turns out that he's quite successful. Moreover, even here, he has a creative approach. Famous singer in Kazakhstan, a member of the once famous duet KZ, Rustem Nurjigit, really has excellent business qualities. 8 years ago, together with his wife, he joined the ranks of representatives of small and medium-sized businesses, got acquainted in detail with such concepts as finance, budget, debit, credit, and others. Today, Rustem is glad that he once decided to take such a step, because if you approach the matter with love, constantly show interest in it, and not be afraid to take risks, then this will certainly bear fruit, especially these days, when the pandemic affected the fate of millions of people and most musicians were out of business. But nevertheless,
нужно жить здесь и сейчас и заниматься,
we need to live here and now,
может быть, даже какими-то вещами,
and do things that we never did. I mean, you don't have to sit back and do nothing, get depressed,
и уходить в депрессию. Это абсолютно нормально.
This is normal if there is something that works for you in another direction, that gives you a life resource.
Оно дает тебе какой-то, как сказать, такой жизненный ресурс такой.
In 2012, when Rustem and his wife Gauhar came up with the idea of opening up a coffee shop, they did not expect to have so many visitors from the first days. And apparently all this is because they themselves prefer to treat the case with 100% responsibility and demand this from their staff.
Я люблю в творчестве вот детально, тщательно вот каждую песню, допустим, которую ты творишь.
I love to create a song carefully and in details.
Если она вот не готова у тебя, да, допустим, и в плане
If it's
аранжировки,
not ready, for example, in terms of arrangement, lyrics, if it's not ready, for example, in terms of arrangement and lyrics, and I don't feel like it's ready, then I don't release it.
спела, я
At least I try not to.
не довожу ее в свет, ну, стараюсь, по крайней мере, этого не делать. Также и, допустим, в нашем бизнесе, да, в кофейном бизнесе, интерьер.
It's the same in coffee business.
Чистый.
Interior music of our coffee shop, clean tables and clean floor, everything should be as perfect as
Всё
possible.
должно быть максимально идеально.
Then you get satisfaction from it, and you will definitely know that your visitors will also like it.
И ты определенно уже будешь знать, что это будет нравиться и твоим посетителям. Допустим, он должен в 9 часов открываться.
The cafe is supposed to be opened at 9 in the morning. It should be opened by this time.
То есть открыли, и уже все готово.
And not just open the doors, start cleaning and cooking, everything should already be ready.
Чтобы протерто было,
Stability in every little thing.
чтобы не было каких-то там, я не знаю, крошек.
And then I think the result will be good.
Вот тогда, я думаю, и результат будет таким хорошим. Со своей семьей часто бываем за рубежом, ну, по крайней мере, до пандемии это происходило.
My family and I often go abroad, at least that was before the pandemic.
Бывало такое, что
We saw many different countries. There have been some places that have been working for 40 years.
лет 40.
Some coffee shop or a small restaurant where the owner is already in old age, but people go there all the time.
В котором уже хозяин или хозяйка уже в преклонном возрасте.
And why do they go there? Because it's the same as it was 40 years ago.
Потому что там все так, как
That is, it's tasty, clean, cozy, and fast. Or maybe it's just a habit of going there.
чисто, уютно, быстро, может быть.
Well, if this is a place where you can eat, then of course there should be something special about this place.
Если это заведение там, где можно поесть.
For example, a person has been visiting this place for 40 years to eat some pastry.
40 лет ходит туда, чтобы съесть какое-нибудь пирожное.
Let's agree with Rustem. There should be a highlight in everything. And as businessman, he constantly works on it. For example, what unusual thing can be invented in a coffee shop? First of all, of course, a special drink.
Есть у нас такой кофе, и вот шукыр уже сколько лет, в принципе.
We have this coffee and people have been drinking it for years. They like it.
Слышал, что, ой, здесь что-то, какой-то такой перебор.
And I've never heard any complaints about it.
В общем, норм. Есть вот такие посетители.
There are some visitors who are very sensitive.
Очень
They understand the taste of coffee, the taste of pastries.
вкус кофе, вкус
And they say if something is wrong right away, and we don't want to blush in front of them.
сразу, моментально, и не хочется краснеть перед ними.
As for the pastry, it's hard to imagine any coffee shop without it, so at first, the Kazakh representative office of one world-famous French company supplied the products.
Конечно, это не дешево было на...
Of course, it was not cheap at first, but it worked in general.
дало свой эффект, в принципе, потому что это уже зарекомендовано.
Because this is already a proven pastry. People already know it.
Люди уже знают. Потом мы
Then we started to involve pastry chefs. A little later, we learned to make some sweets ourselves.
некоторые сладости делать сами.
Maybe some visitors do not know, and they think that a brownie is made in some bakery, but it's actually our own brownie. It's made in our own coffee shop, and it's pretty good.
Я не знаю, кондитерская изготавливается. На самом деле это наш брауни. Он изготавливается у нас в кофейне и довольно неплохо получается.
We filmed this story early in the morning, when the city was just waking up. Rustem asked us to schedule an interview during this time, because it was a working day. We don't think he could talk to us later.
Это наша вторая точка, так скажем. В принципе, у нас уже есть
This is our second point.
более 8
In general, we already have an experience.
мы открыли
It has been 8 years since we opened the same place,
районе, неподалеку отсюда.
just in another neighborhood, not far from here. We have 15 varieties of coffee, several varieties of tea.
Есть у нас и кава,
We Kazakhs love to drink tea. We have sweets, cakes, brownies, cheesecakes, tiramisu, croissants, and salads.
Так как сейчас утро, вот,
Since it's morning, we're just starting our day.
начинаем наш рабочий день. Здесь у нас есть
Here we have desserts, salads, light snacks, pancakes with farmer cheese and with meat,
для легкого такого перекуса, блинчики.
and this will be filled as the day goes by.
Вот. И эту витрину мы будем заполнять. Немаловажно в нашем заведении,
Music is important in our coffee shop.
так как мы люди творческие,
Since we're creative people, I'm a musician, I think that music should always be smooth.
музыка была спокойная, такая. Я люблю джаз,
For example, I love jazz, calm jazz, and classics.
чтобы нашим гостям было
So that our guests feel comfortable here while having meetings or just sitting here, thinking about their business and having coffee or tea.
подумать о своих делах, выпить чашечку чая, чашечку кофе. Интерьер для нас
The interior for us is one of the important things.
и мы творческие.
We approach it with the same creativity as the music.
Еще раз повторяюсь. Мы совсем недавно открылись, поэтому я вот даже присел
We recently opened.
сюда.
That's why I decided to come here to test everything on myself.
Пробую, прислушиваюсь, присматриваюсь, насколько здесь
To listen and see how comfortable it would be for me, for a guest or anyone who comes here.
другому нашему гостю, да, любому человеку, который сюда придет. Ну вот, это у нас...
This is such a small room.
Интерьер здесь мы создавали.
We created the interior ourselves. I mean, my wife and I. In general, we create everything together both in business and in creativity and in our family.
И по бизнесу, и по творчеству, и в семье все так же. Вот.
There are such moments that somewhere I fix something in our housekeeping.
Кто-то поправил по-хозяйски. Нам нравятся вот такие вот винтажные вещи.
We like these vintage things.
Они создают такую теплоту,
I love them. They create warmth and some memories.
воспоминания. Вот, например, этот телефон, ну, наверное...
For example, I think this phone is from 1930s and 40s. Naturally, this is a copy.
Естественно, это не оригинал.
And this is Rustem Nurjigit's recording studio, next to which is a small television studio.
Здесь происходит творчество. Не только у меня, здесь сюда приходят.
I'm not the only one who creates something here. A lot of our celebrities came here.
Я имею в виду вот,
Performers, vocalists, instrumentalists, almost everyone has been here. Because a lot of projects were shot and recorded here.
Очень много проектов снимали, записывали.
In addition to the recording studio, we have production.
Здесь у нас и продакшн-студия, здесь
There is a sound engineer's place. From here we see the second room, sound recording where vocals or some instruments are being recorded.
инструмент. Студию построили мы.
We built a studio 6 or 7 years ago.
Может быть, вот так вот. Выдержаны практически
All standards are maintained here by 95%.
все нормы вообще.
In general, it was not easy to build this 2 rooms, as it might seem.
Не так просто, как, может быть, некоторым кажется. Эта комната у нас лайфная.
This room is our sound recording room, where vocals are recorded.
Вокал. То есть любой вокалист становится вот сюда, вот, надевает уши.
Any vocalist gets here, puts on the headphones, looks at the sound engineer.
Здесь через
In this case, the picture is displayed on the monitor through the camera. And in your headphones, you hear the sound engineer. He hears you.
слышит тебя. Здесь соблюдены, в принципе.
All sound installation standards are observed here.
Создавали
It was created in a way so it's as cozy as possible for the artist.
для артиста
The studio is right above our coffee shop.
над нашей кофейней. Если вот так
If the artist worked and he needs a break to have some rest, he can go downstairs,
писал, и,
have a snack, drink tea, coffee, and continue his work.
в принципе, артист может спуститься вниз, перекусить, выпить чай, кофе и
We thought all the details out on purpose.
мы все специально это продумывали.
As it turned out, shortly before our visit, Rustem received this pretty green bar stand. And it's related to another path that Rustem's wife Gauhar had long dreamed of. They decided not to comment on this yet, although we were intrigued. And this prompted us to ask our hero if he still has any plans and dreams.
Так как мы казахи, мы любим покататься.
Since we're Kazakhs, we like to ride horses, love mountains and steppes. Since childhood, I have such a desire to open a farm.
Такое хозяйство. Если появится такая возможность, время.
And if there is such an opportunity, time and strength, I will gladly work on it. I think, and I can feel it, that I will like it.
Следующий наш герой.
Our next hero is from Tashkent. Today he's one of the most popular and promising pop artists in Uzbekistan. At the same time, he has quite a lot of potential as a businessman. No wonder. There is a reason for this. So we decided to meet him and talk about it. According to many in Uzbekistan, this is fundamentally not like traditional pop music. Shakhrullo tries to keep up with the times and popularizes new genres, a new sound, a new worldview among Uzbek listeners. In general, Shakhrullo is all about being modern. And this is particularly evident in the way he runs his business, what principles he adheres to. In the first year of study at the International University of Westminster in Tashkent, where Shakhrullo entered in 2010, it was important to decide on the choice of one of the 4 specialties: business administration, economics, commercial law, and IT.
Соответственно, я выбрал коммерческое право, потому что более близок к этому, так как до этого даже...
I chose commercial law because it's closer to me. Before that, I studied in social and humanitarian classes at the Lyceum. I graduated in 2016. Between 2013 and 2015, I entered the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. No one knew about this, since the whole family was against the creative direction.
Я была достаточно против более творческого направления во мне. Вся семья больше связана.
My family is connected with the state entities, with private economy, and for them creativity was something childish and not serious. Now they support me. I flew to California to finish my studies at the academy. It took 2 years, so today I have 2 degrees.
Соответственно, на сегодняшний день у меня 2 высших образования.
Studying at prestigious universities has borne fruit. In 2019, Shakhrullo Abdullayev created a company. It unites various areas of the media.
Начали заниматься LED-экранами по городу.
We began to engage in LED screens around the city, not banners, only LED screens, because they have a great future organizing concerts, inviting foreign artists and marketing on social networks, video editing and production. In a word, the whole media sphere. We tried to unite everything in one entity. We started with ourselves. If we do this successfully, then in the future we want to create a label and promote young artists around Uzbekistan.
Прогонять молодых артистов по Узбекистану.
It must be said that Shakhrullo's business sense is no coincidence. For more than 20 years, his family has been successfully conducting business related to pharmaceutical products, construction, and other areas. Therefore, Shakhrullo has business qualities necessary for a real businessman. You have to learn a lot in the process of life. For example, how one can combine at first glance absolutely incompatible things. And we think it's not as easy as it looks like.
Это очень и очень тяжело. Первая проблема, которая возникает, это, наверное, time-management.
It's very hard. The first problem that arises is probably time management, because physically you do not have time to try to do 2 things at once. Of course, first you have to devote time to business rather than creativity. I would like to stay alone with creativity and forget about earning money, forget about the need to feed my family, forget about the fact that I have some responsibility, and just do creativity. But I cannot afford this, since there are responsibilities.
Но ты не можешь себе этого позволить, так как есть, опять же, обязательства. Сейчас мы набираем.
Now we recruit a team in business as well as in creativity so that everything works as autonomously as possible, and just certain strategic decisions depended on me, so that everything in the company could work according to the right hierarchy and right approach to the customers.
Менеджеры правильно ведут себя с клиентами.
Having talked with Shakhrullo, it became clear to us why he once took up the implementation of his business project. He had different reasons, and the very first is the insufficient incomes of cultural workers, representatives of show business in the country, and limited opportunities for fruitful promotion.
Мы получаем большое удовольствие от создания треков, мы получаем большое удовольствие от того, что людям нравится слушать их, от того, что они нам пишут комментарии.
We receive a great pleasure from writing songs. We get great pleasure from the fact that people like to listen to them, from the fact that they comment on them, just say that you do very cool things. But unfortunately, this does not have any financial materialization in any way, and probably it's due to pirated music. I am absolutely convinced of this because the pirated music gets everything. It does not allow artists to develop, it does not allow them to earn money. Many people have a very simple opinion.
И мышление, мнение многих людей
When you ask them the question, why don't you buy a subscription to Yandex Music or Apple Music? They answer, why? Am I a fool to pay for music? Or that I'm not a fool to pay money for an artist? But this is labor. We must not forget that this is the same work as business. Yes, the world is managed by merchants, I agree. But this is also partly labor, and this should be treated with respect.
Отчасти труд. И к этому нужно относиться с уважением. Мы очень хотим коллаборации с иностранными артистами.
We really want to collaborate with foreign artists, just like Russian artists once began to make music together with American artists, and Russian stars became recognizable around the world. I also want Uzbek stars to be known around the world. And today, it's not even difficult, since we have all the tools and technologies. Imagine how cool it is when a language completely unknown to you, but the melody is so great that the whole world sings this motive, these lyrics, without even understanding the meaning. For example, Gangnam Style. Absolutely incomprehensible words, but you sing them, you dance, and I really want some tracks in Uzbek language to get into the Billboard chart, and that the whole world sings it without even understanding the meaning of the words.
Просто залетел в чарты билборда и...
There are some thoughts I want to share with you. Do not think too much about the set goals, just go for it. Silently bowing your head despite everyone. Everyone will start to judge you. They will say that it won't work, you won't be able to do this.
Склонив голову, несмотря на всех, все начинают...
But never doubt yourself. Just go for it. And don't try to judge others for what they do.
Что-то не сможешь, просто идите.
Each person has its own mission, its own goal. If you have a goal, just don't stop.
Если есть цель, идите к ней и не останавливайтесь.
А теперь мы узнаем, насколько легко.
And now we will find out how easy or difficult it is to combine incompatible things for a representative of a fairer sex. Our next hero is sure that, if desired, a talented person is quite capable of moving the mountains. I suggest going to Baku and talk with one of the favorite folk dance performers in Azerbaijan. She came to art when she was still a child, but even then, she knew that she wanted to devote her life to dance. Despite the fact that her father was totally against this decision, she managed to achieve her goal. Fatima Fatalieva is a well-known person in Azerbaijan, whose work is greatly appreciated by many. And of course, she has many students for whom she opened a dance school, and she herself has an excellent opportunity to professionally engage in choreography. But our hero was not going to limit herself to this activity, and is not going to, since by nature she's a rather energetic and creative person. Therefore, it's not surprising that at present, she's the owner of a well-known event company and a popular beauty center. Fatima says that dancing has always been and will always be in the first place for her, and everything else is just a hobby. And why not mix business with pleasure? Time flies very fast. I have been in this art for 23 years, and I'm proud to perform the national dances of Azerbaijan. Since childhood, I've been engaged in music and dance. My mom used to say that even when I was 1 year old, I was particularly responsive to music. I guess it's from birth. The first ensemble where I danced was Jujilerim. I was studying with Lala Khanum for 3 years. Then, in the House of Medical Workers, my teacher was people's artist Nariman Mualim. There I was an ensemble soloist for 3 or 4 years. My dad didn't want me to dance, and my mother always supported me. I remember that they often had arguments over this.
Benim kızım rəqsə çox böyük bir sevgisi olduğuna görə mən istəmirəm o rəqslə məşğul olsun. Biz Ali xanımla tanış olduq.
Finally, when the family allowed me to dance, I met the honored artist Aliya Ramazanova, who said that I should definitely come to her dance school. And so I became part of the Çiçekler ensemble, and then for several years I was its soloist. I became known to the public with a television broadcast when I danced to Akif Islamzadeh's song, Nergizlerim. This solo inspired me even more.
Çox gözəl musiqisi var, Nərgizlərim. Mən onu solo şəklində, yəni ifa etmişəm. Çox gözəl tələbələrim var mənim, çox gözəl artıq.
Now I became a teacher. I have a lot of students. Some of them themselves already teach. They are opened their own schools. I would say that in recent years, interest in this kind of art has increased a lot. About 6 years ago, it was far from truth. Now parents are interested in their children dancing, and it's good. Of course, not all of them want their children to become professional dancers in the future. There's just an interest in national dances. They want children to dance good. Dance is the harmony of soul and body. My opinion is that if a person does not know how to dance at all, then he doesn't love life. Who loves music, dance cannot be bad, cannot be a source of negativity.
Amma əksəriyyət istəyir ki, mütləq Azərbaycan rəqslərini və dünya xalq rəqslərini bilib və sevgiləri daha da çox olsun. Rəqs ümumiyyətlə
If a person wants to preserve youth, inner beauty, then he must certainly dance. Dance keeps human from getting old. I'm often asked, here you are already a grandmother and you look so young. It's all because of dance and music. It helps to preserve inner beauty. And this affects the appearance.
Məncə mümkün deyil ki, olsun. Mən belə düşünürəm. Çünki
Well, now about activities other than dance art. What is that and why? Isn't it risky these days when many forced to close their companies due to the pandemic to run business? Let's ask Fatima about this.
mən tək deyəndə əlbəttə ki, çox
I opened my business with the support of my family, mostly with the support of my husband. And I would not say that this was a material support. No, it wasn't.
çıxmaq üçün
If I had any fantasies, I had ideas, I shared them with my husband. And he made some pretty good corrections. Indeed, the male view of business needs to be taken into account. When I opened a company for organizing bridal showers, he helped me a lot. Of course, he wanted me to get away from dancing while doing business, but I cannot do it. I say to my family all the time that it's impossible. Dance is my cure. Even when I'm old, I'll still be dancing. Well, I can't live without it.
bizi Moskvaya dəvət etmişlər. 4-5 dəfə mən xına yaxdım.
We organize bridal showers not only in the country but also in foreign countries. Our compatriots who live abroad are especially drawn to national customs. Therefore, they invite us to organize these events for them. We want to remind our viewers that bridal showers is one of the oldest Azerbaijani traditions, the bridal shower before the wedding. The purpose of the ritual is to make the bride realize that she will soon become a married woman. In addition, Azerbaijanis from ancient times believe that henna has magical properties, protects against an evil eye and dark forces. Usually the event is held a few days before the wedding, and the size of the event is little less than the main event. Therefore, professionals are always needed to organize everything beautifully, brightly, with dignity, so that the holiday will be remembered for years to come. And this is the beauty center of Fatima Fatalieva that we mentioned earlier. We must say that it appeared not out of nothing. There were reasons for this.
Mən də düşündüm ki, elə
The idea came when I went to the salons myself. I was wondering if I could open my own. There was one empty room in the building where my dance schools is located. I think we should use it for good, and I decided to turn it into a beauty salon. Then I expanded it to several rooms, and that's how it evolved. And now we have a 2-story beauty center. Indeed, it's hard to say that it's just a salon. Here is a real center where beauty rightfully reigns. At first, there were problems with the specialists. It was hard to find professionals. Then everything worked out. After all, it's the professionalism of the staff that attracts the clients. I found them, and it allowed us to grow. According to Fatima Hanum, 2020 will be remembered for a long time. It turned everything upside down, caused a lot of problems, but there is always hope for the best, and it makes us stronger.
burada da işlədim. Sonra ondan da böyük yer açdım.
We provide services to both women and men. Of course, the pandemic weakened our work a little, but it's better than not working. The areas I work in are interconnected. If there are no holidays, weddings, events, so few people will go to the salons, basically to get yourself in order. I hope that when the pandemic is over, businesses will also revive.
На сегодня все.
That's all for today. You have watched Colors of Asia. See you next time.